Hello everyone, welcome to another speedrun game against Lord Vishenka, rated 1629. We're going to play our accelerated Rosalimo against the Sicilian, where we take early, double his pawns, create a light square pawn chain to replace our bishop, and then castle. And now we see what happens. So, in some Sicilian games, we've seen them bring the bishop out this way, but this guy goes this way, which means he's going to have to trade it for the bishop at some point. I mean, for the knight. Like right now, is he going to try to sack it and open the rook? Like fishing pole technique? I don't buy it. I don't believe it. Yeah, he doesn't. Okay. I don't think he could have made that work, even with letting the queen in. Anyway, he goes back, and so why'd you put it here to begin with, right? And he made random pawn moves instead of developing. Not ideal for him. I'm going to develop a piece towards the center. We already have our pawn presence, step 1. We've developed our kingside pieces, step 2. We've castled, step 3. So now complete development is step 4, which means queenside. If you just follow the logic of chess, follow the order of things, you're going to have way better games. Way better games. And if you follow the thought process of prophylaxis, forcing moves, development, piece improvement, pawn play in that order every turn, if you can drill that into your subconscious, you're going to have much better games. E6. Creating some space for his pieces. Going for solidity over anything else. I'd like to continue developing. I think bishop e2, bishop d2 is a standard move to try to connect the heavies. It can look at this long diagonal at some point in the future. No big deal. Queen here. He wants to push and sack. Is he really going to sack? I mean, this guy, based on h5, it tells me he's super aggressive, and he wants to sack. It doesn't work, but he doesn't know that. So we have different moves. There's always b3 in these positions, blunting rooks, preventing c4. Reasonable. I'm going to jump my knight here because there's a triple fork potential. It opens up my bishop. I can always support it here. Yeah, so he goes here, but boom, and now what's your rook really doing there? My knight is always going to be pressuring these squares, so I never really have to do anything with it for the next 15 turns. So he goes for the sack, but what's the drawback? Undefends these two squares. Boom. Now, if you want to sack here, be my guest. It's definitely not the same as sacking on h3. So he tries to break it down. He's trying to force it, but with no development. So he's a 1600, but he's still breaking all the rules because he doesn't understand them. Yeah, so whatever. So we can do whatever we want. We can even take this pawn and provoke the sack. I'm going to do that to show you guys there's nothing scary. Even if a 1600 tries this, he doesn't even sack. He takes back first. See, now he can't even sack. I was hoping he would go down the line so we can at least have some fun. Okay, now his structure, weak pawn, outpost in front of it for our pieces, weak king, undeveloped, terrible black position. If we just hop our knight here, it even defends against the sack, which I was trying to let him do. But I need to play this move. It's clearly strong, improving the piece for free because we're coordinating, opening up our rook. You see, he challenges this, but what about the light squares? Now, I don't want to move the same piece again and hop in and go, ooh, I'm going to take your rook, stuff like that. I'd much rather get in a new piece and, get my queen in there. If I go here, and he takes my knight. He gets checkmated. I like that. Let's do that. Our rooks are connected 1, 2, I don't know, 3 moves before black. Black can't even castle, so I'm just speaking like kind of imaginarily. But in the best imaginary world, it would take him 3 moves. But realistically, he's never going to castle with our control over the F file. Not good for him. Not good for him. So he develops the knight in an effort to protect the light squares, but we are hitting it 3 times to his 2. He is ready, or he wants to put a rook here probably, which makes some sense. But his knight would be a little loose there. We could remove the potential sacrifice and solidify the knight by playing h4. Reasonable move. But then you give up control over g4 to his pieces, which you may or may not want. If we do go here, and he does try to pin it, do we have something cool? I feel like we should. Well, yeah, we could take the knight and hit the rook. Yeah, that should be sufficient. Okay, so now we're improving our piece for free, going into his territory. Our pieces are well placed. Okay, if we could cheat, we would go rook f2, rook af1, right, to get better piece placement. But you don't get free moves in chess. So for the most part, our pieces are nice. He does go for it, but that hangs. What's the drawback? If you ask yourself, what's the drawback of the move? Undefends this square, undefends this square. Boom, the idea pops in your head, free knight. And he can resign. If I ask you what's step 1 in the opening, you better tell me establish a pawn presence. If I ask you what step 2 is, you better tell me develop your kingside pieces. If I ask you what step 3 is, you better tell me castle. Why? So that you don't end up a 1600 resigning with your king in the center on move 18 because you never castled. It's 3 easy steps, right? Just follow them. Anyway, we establish a pawn presence in the center, and then we create a pawn duo, a cheeky one, by moving the f-pawn. Development center. Development center. Free stuff in the sense we double his pawns. Tiny bit of something. Center development. King safety development. Improving our position for free. It says we're plus 1.8, which is really, really, really strong. Now, we're not up anything. It can dissipate if you mess up or make inaccuracies. So we won't cash in. We won't just call our mom and brag just yet. Development and center. Development and not center because we don't want to walk into potential forks. So it's plus 2.3, which means that a titled player is essentially will win this, 7 times out of 10 from white, even though he's not up anything. So you have different options. I know a lot of you are not going to like this move. It happens to be the best engine move because, he's kind of asking for it. But let's say you didn't want to make it because you don't fully understand or appreciate it. Queen e2, queen e1, getting the queen over to the e file and over to the king side in Grand Prix fashion. Makes sense. We go for this because I've analyzed a bunch of these games, and oftentimes they really like b3 early. They really like this construction. And, the engine is way better at chess than me. So, okay, force move and a desirable move at that to stop c4 ideas. He goes here. Now I auto moved because I wasn't paying full attention. When he did, even before he did this, I knew he aligned this up for a sacrifice. So in my head, I had already predetermined that if he ever pushes, you can always just push and ruin that idea. I didn't even consider alternate moves, which was dumb of me, because this pawn is, of course, just hanging terribly. I should have just taken it. but I was like, oh, just stop it. You know what I mean? We're still +2. It doesn't matter, but I mean, ideally you take this, let him take here, you take, he takes here, and the thing is, if you just go like Queen E2 or Rook F2, but I would probably go Queen E2. What does he do? He has nothing but the Queen. Does he have any checks? This one and this one, both easily stopped with Queen here. So what is the sack? He's down a piece. It's +4. It doesn't do anything. Um, but yeah, I moved a little hastily. Fair enough. He tries to break it down. It's still +4. It's not like I lost the game with that move. It's still a really good move, but there was a more dynamic option. It did require more calculation, granted, but I'm strong enough that I can calculate that. So anyway, we take his pawn, and I'm trying to show you guys this isn't scary because I was going to intermezzo this, which brings his king here and then loses the game to discoveries. In any case, he goes here. Best move is to take it because it's just free stuff, and most importantly, you're opening up the f-file, which is like the whole point of the king's gambit. Okay, he shouldn't take back. He should do his utmost to keep the f-file closed, but it's not natural to play f6. So he does a more human thing. And even here, we're so well developed. His king is so weak. I moved here, which they said is a mistake, in a totally winning position. It's still totally winning at +3. But I didn't consider sacrifices. I saw a super strong move. I'm like, let me just play it, right? You could even take this. It's a little fancy, but the idea is to clearance the f-file quickly. Like if you go here, you clear the f-file, but it's not with a... Okay, it's somewhat forcing, but it doesn't actually win anything. Like he can move the rook. But if you take this pawn, you won material and you're hitting stuff. It's forcing. So he has to respond. And then you get to utilize the f-file quickly, fast, with threats. But it's unnecessary, engine-y, and you will need to be 100% sure before you pull the trigger. So we go here at +3. Our second and last mistake of the game. Mistake at +3. He goes there, and of course, Queen F3, devastating move. Extremely difficult for him to find the accurate moves here. You could have just hopped your knight in here and hit the rook, but I wanted to add a little more oomph. Engine likes this slightly better than Queen F3, but I think adding the extra piece will lead to a lot of nice lines for white. So he's supposed to try knight F6, just developing like a human being. Wait a second. Queen takes knight. Bishop takes queen. Rook takes bishop. He's currently up 3 points of material, but he's losing. That's crazy. He's going to contest our rook. We're going to double. He's going to trade because he thinks he's up material. I mean, he is up material. If he wastes a move, the whole point of this is like knight h7 and rook f8 unstoppable. That's insane. Yeah, that's way too above my level. Above my pay grade, guys. Anyway, he didn't play knight f6. He goes knight h6, because he was trying to defend this square, which doesn't work. He needed to just blockade, because once he goes to f6, my queen can infiltrate. They're disconnected. So it would have been his best try. Then we would have to move our queen because it doesn't belong in the f-file. So now I can see why the engine actually liked knight f7 here. It comes with the threat, and it clearances the square potentially for your bishop. Because in my line, if he did play accurately, although we're still winning, it's more annoying because you can't put your bishop here, you can't jump your knight in yet. It's slower. You're gonna have to remaneuver stuff. His position's still terrible though. He doesn't find it, blunders, and we find just the winning tactic at +5, improving a piece for free, free stuff for free, and he resigns. Interesting game. 2 mistakes, so they're more missed opportunities than anything. No big deal. You could see these are just here, missed opportunity, and here, missed opportunity, but winning the entire time. So no big deal. Um, King's Gambit is irrelevant because this was a Sicilian. But this King's Gambit pawn duo is somewhat fun in the Sicilian because you can see how we're still able to utilize the f-file like in the King's Gambit. So give it a try and post the game in my Discord or in the comments. Good luck in your chess. Goodbye.